Can we, through OBS somehow, potentially, maybe, now also... Oh, it just automatically starts the YouTube stream as well. Hello everybody, how's everybody doing? That's very good to know. Usually I start the Twitch stream and then like 2 minutes later the YouTube stream starts up because I need to manually start like the stream on YouTube, but apparently Restream takes care of that for me. So, hello everybody, and my chat seems to work quite fine. It's a little annoying that this chat seems to work from top to bottom, not from bottom to top. That might be a thing that I can change in the settings. Let me try to figure this out real quick as we get started here today. Appearance, can we say bottom to top in any way? Maybe, maybe not. Seems like maybe not. Can I embed this in the stream? Huh, that's also interesting. We're not going to look at that today. Okay, bye. Sure, that if you want to leave the moment the stream starts, do feel free to. Sure. Cool. Fine with me. Okay, so today, what we're going to do is continue on where we left off last week. Last week we mostly just did a lot of like redesign of the way the AI behavior trees work in general. And we kind of stopped halfway through. I also merged everything together with my my other branches, so all of my code now exists in this workspace, which is quite cool. So let's go and open up this guy over here. Can we in any way, shape or form like open this in... I'll just navigate to it, that's fine. AI, no, characters, player, enemies, there we go, enemy, characters, bosses, Reaper, there we go. So we have the Reaper boss, which is just update boss info. We were working on this, now remember, we were working on this last week. Making just one thing that updates the boss info X amount of time per second, and then based on that is going to change between a aggressive behavior tree and a passive behavior tree. So we've got a behavior tree running different behavior trees. That's the whole idea, to simplify things a little bit compared to how we've been doing it so far, which has been a mess, to put it lightly. So let's get started on this update boss info thing, which was a C++ class, I believe. And we now I remember, yeah, we wasted a lot of time trying to filter for these keys, and I still have not looked any deeper into that. But I think we wasted like 30 minutes or something like that on, frankly, not that important of a task. Update boss info. So what we want to do here is on tick node we're going to update all of this information, right? So we're going to calculate some stuff, and then we're going to make decisions and everything based on that. And I made a boss info struct here to do that through. So we have the boss states info, and then we have the passive wait timer, which we're going to write to, the state timer, which we are going to also write to, I guess, and then the boss state timer duration. Okay, I think I remember now. So, okay, let's try to do this. We're going to do all of this in a for loop, or a for each loop, rather. So for Not even close. For boss state info, so for info, boss state info, that's what the variable is called, not the, it's fboss info. I'm just getting back into it right now. Okay, fboss info in boss state info. We try to get the Blackboard component. We get all this. I don't know if this is really what we... Okay, so we get the boss health. If that is less than our info.health threshold, we set all this stuff. And then we break. So we don't do the rest of the for loop. That makes sense. No. We don't want to break, actually. Right? Because what we want to do is, say we are at 100% HP, right? This is going to be false. But if we're at 70% HP and our threshold is 70, it's going to do all this stuff, which is fine. But if we're at 50% HP and our next threshold was 60, we never get to that because we're going to break out of this for loop. So we actually don't want to do that. We want to keep going and just find whatever is the lowest threshold that we go past, I think. I also don't think that we're going to be setting the state timer back to 0 because of that. There's probably a better way to write this. But we're going to just stick with it for now. We can always come back to this later. So the state timer duration. We're going to set to info dot state timer duration. That makes sense. Passive wait time is going to be set to passive wait time. And our boss state is going to be set to boss state. So this one actually we don't want to have in there because that is just going to update outside of this for loop. So what we do want to do is, let me check again. Right now we're updating the state time duration and the passive wait time. So that is the state time duration and the passive wait time. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So then outside of this for loop, we're going to... I'll probably want to have super tick node in there to begin with. Oops. That was almost bad. Outside of this though, we are going to... make a float for timer, which is going to be equal to owner Blackboard component get float as value state timer. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Timer plus equals delta seconds. Okay. Assumedly, the delta seconds here refers to the time since the last time that this node ticked, not just usually when you're talking about like delta seconds in like an update function or something like that, right? In a tick function, it's on a per frame basis, but this is not going to run every frame. This is going to run every X amount of time. So presumably that delta seconds refers to that value. I'm going to log the timer though. It's not. I mean that is kind of. That's what I want eventually, but right now I just want to U-log the timer. Let's just add in that code and thank you. That's what I want. Could have just written that myself. Yeah. Do you have a tutorial on how to make Visual Studio Complete? The code for me like yours. Just look up GitHub Copilot. That's what I'm using. It's a couple bucks a month, but it is really, really nice to have. Aside from that, the best you're gonna get is, I think there's some free alternatives that are like AI assistants. But aside from that, you're just going to, like, the best you're gonna get is like IntelliSense, which still is pretty good, but it's not as good as Copilot. Okay, so if timer is greater than or equal to timer, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Actually, never mind. Okay, we need to include the boss state. Which is a very good question. Where did we actually store that? God. Okay. We can find this. We can find this. Maybe it is inside of the boss base. No, that would have been altogether too logical. Don't tell me it's in the night boss. It's probably in the night boss, isn't it? Not even. Huh. That is worrying. Is it a blueprint, Enum? Surely it's not a blueprint, Enum. Is it? Blackboard base condition state is equal to we can figure this out. Key type enum. It is a blueprint type. Okay, that is, I guess, technically not a problem. It's not ideal. But I guess it's technically not a problem because we can just pass in like, oh, that's my Premiere Pro project, which I definitely should be closing right now. We'll get back to that later. Because it's an enum, you can technically just like supply integers, and that should still work. Like if you just supply a uint8, I believe, that just works. So check if timer is greater than state time duration. So if our timer is bigger than our state time duration, set timer to 0 and set boss to passive. You say eboss state passive. I don't think eboss state yet exists, but we're going to now let's just make it in C++ and replace it. It's probably going to break a thing or two. Then again, actually, no, it probably wouldn't, right? Because if it just passes in that value, which is just like, again, effectively an integer. Even if the types don't match, that should still just work, right? in theory. It's not great to do it this way. So don't do this. But I don't see a reason for this not to... Well, I see a reason for it not to work, but I think that it should still work. So fboss state. I don't know why it thinks that it's supposed to be eboss state. That's weird. Oh, because it's a struct. I'm enum. Boss state enum. Passive aggressive dead. Actually having that dead state in there might be pretty good. Because then he just won't do anything. That's actually that's actually a pretty good idea. Yeah, you see, it's just an unsigned integer. 8-bit. So in theory, you should just be able to mix and match those. I've never tried that though, but I think you can. Yeah, see here, it's even like casting it to that. Which you might need to for behavior tree related purposes, but I don't know. This is going to now need to include the boss base. And now it should be able to find this, right? So if I... Yeah, there we go. But we don't always want to set it to passive. We want to switch case boss state passive. We want to set this to aggressive. And I guess the defaults will just set it to nothing. Default just will do nothing. It's always going to be one of these, unless it's dead, at which point I suppose we don't actually want it to do anything. So yeah, no, this adds up. Okay. So that sets the timer back to 0. If not, then we add to the timer. I think that makes more sense. So we get the current time, then we log it just for testing purposes, then we do all this, then we add to the timer and set it to its new value on the blackboard, and then the next time will come through, it'll have its new value. So we're technically like 1 tick behind, and 1 tick is going to be like half a second here, so that is going to be noticeable. But I think that shouldn't be a big problem, maybe. Hopefully that won't be a big problem. We'll find out in a moment. There's some other issues going on as well, by the way, with the boss's movement, which we'll have to look into in a second. But I first want to know whether or not this service is working to begin with. Okay. We'll have to look into that in a second because something is going horribly wrong. Player weapon 80. Have gameplay ability spec handle undefined. Why is the player suddenly fucking up all over the place? Oh, that's worrying. I don't like that at all. Let's check it out. Something must have maybe gone a little weird with the merging, but I didn't really do anything in this class when I merged, so Oh, it's the weapon.h. Which I also didn't do anything in. TRA F gameplay ability spec handle. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it can load that. Now it can. Is it fixed? No. No, it's not. Not a valid type for... You know what? This feels like what we're going to have to do is just reveal this file in Explorer real quick. I will pull it over to this side of Restream. And then what we are going to do is just right click on this, generate project files, and sometimes that fixes weird linking stuff. Because that's what this seems to be. So let's see if that fixes anything. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be mildly upset. Why the fuck does this no longer work? Because nothing about like half this stuff I have actually changed. Everything does seem to have to do with TRA, so maybe I fucked something to do with that here? Seems unlikely. Let's go back here, and then it did just like make a couple of things green, which were white before, so maybe finally it's caught up. Gotta use the right shortcut. I'm not particularly hopeful. Yeah, there we go. It's the same fucking issue. I have no fucking clue what the issue is. But what we will do is, what I was gonna do here is our binaries and our intermediate folder. Sometimes you just kind of need to throw those out. Let's close Unreal as well. That should be everything that's trying to... What else could be trying to use this? Version control? Binaries. Binaries can be deleted easily. Intermediate. Also easily deleted. I don't know what the fuck the problem was. Yes, I want to cancel these transfers. Okay. Now, let's try to regenerate that stuff again. In the meantime, we can open up Visual Studio Code again. Sure. Can we... I don't want to bother with CMake stuff. Can we just like normal compile this? Are we going to get the same issues? Is this going to be another stream where we have no fucking progress because Unreal just decides not to work anymore? Because those are always the most fun, aren't they? Is it taking unreasonably long so far? Okay. Okay. Same issue. Rescan workspace. Something is going red. It's ulog. It's not liking that. Okay. Parsing is now complete. Which might suggest that it's fixed itself. Probably should have done a compile after the whole merging. Fuck! Why are my... Okay, Google. It's time to Google. It's something to do with T-arrays. Unreal T-arrays C++ compile error. Compile error when I use T-array. No instance of constructor. I've seen that as an error before. T-array is a template. You need to use it like T-array in 30. I know how it works. Okay, so this guy is just an idiot. That's not my problem because I'm using it as a template. Something's not going right here. I was looking forward to doing some actual fucking work today. And now this is happening. Really annoying. Okay, it was user error. I'm assuming something is user error on my end as well, but I just don't know what. Did have nothing to do with changing T-array from holding integer 32 to f vector. I had some other code buried that was adding, yeah, so not the same as my problem because I didn't change any code to do with this. So actually, no, I don't think that this is user error. I think that it is actually Unreal fucking me. Or Visual Studio, something along those lines. Man, here somebody is saying that Gizmo libraries are most of all use in blueprints. If you're going to use them in C++, you might as well stick with blueprints. That is the most fucking insane take that I've ever seen. For proper C++ code, look inside the Gizmo library and see what it does and try doing that yourself instead of calling a Gizmo function. This guy is just saying, don't use library, write everything yourself. Fuck off. Seriously, just... What the fuck? Anyway, that's not my issue either. So what's going wrong with all this? I'm going to just paste this into ChatGPT. Hopefully ChatGPT can take in this much text. I'm having an error in Unreal Engine when I try to compile my projects. quite a lot of text. Hopefully you can parse all that. Undeclared or improperly defined identifiers, mismatching types. The issue seems to be related to template arrays. I know. Here's some troubleshooting tips. F ability game spec handle undeclared identifier. Ensure that the header file where gameplay ability spec is defined is properly included in your project. I mean, it is. I can try to see if something fucked up and it is unable to link that. But again, it seems to be related to specifically the arrays and not the types I'm using. Yeah. But let's humor ChatGPT and see if where the hell did I put my player stuff? Ability gameplay spec handle. I might have actually like not included that. Yeah, I don't think I have that here. So that does make sense. But why then does it actually find this? Okay, fair is fair. I don't have that included here. So surely, though, gameplay ability spec handle. Is that just like straight up like this? You see, it keeps... It keeps bitching about the TRA stuff. I'm confused as to why that didn't give me an error before, the fact that I didn't have that type included, but it's probably because it's included through system component or something like that. But I think this has a pragma once, right? No, I don't care. Let's see if it throws any like different errors now. Probably won't. Okay. Okay. It's only bitching about the boss update now. So, how? I didn't change anything about the weapon. Why is that? Why was that suddenly a problem? What? What? This is fair. It's timer with uppercase, lowercase. Switch expression is not integral. That is because the switch needs to end with a semicolon as well. Oh, it's because it just has expression. We want to get switch on whatever the fuck that is. Yeah. Okay, there's some syntax issues here. First and foremost, the fact that this, for some reason, had one bracket too much. And then we have 55. Yeah, no, that all adds up. That should be fine, right? Probably just getting confused off of that one extra little bracket that we had. 41. The hell are you talking about? Oh, fuck. No, ChatGPT, I pressed enter too quickly. I'm just asking it what's wrong with this switch statement, because I'm feeling like I might need to just add in some extra... like do this. Oh, we don't... like that. But then we don't get the specific... okay, so actually what we want to do... I figured it out. We want to add a boss state to be equal to this entire thing. So let's call this state. Current boss state. Just try to prevent typos. All that, and then we just switch on current boss state. That's the idea, right? Man, this has been a rough start to the stream. Oh, no, there's still an issue. What is that issue? Cannot convert from uint8 to e-boss state. That is a problem. Because we need to cast that, probably. ChatGPT does say casting it as well, so let's cast that to a uint8. ChatGPT says static cast. I probably shouldn't be relying on ChatGPT so much, because it feels like it's just kind of serving me bullshit at this point. Conversion to enumeration type requires explicit cast, static cast, C-style cast, cast, or parentheses Z function cast. So we just like cast it like this. Will it accept that? This is proven to be a bit more of an issue than I thought it was gonna be. But at least we're back to like actually debugging stuff to do with the code around this AI behavior. Okay, so let's see if Copilot can figure this out. Get boss state enum from Blackboard. What are you gonna do? You just get value as enum. Yeah, so that gave me problems before, right? Oh no, I'm an idiot. I was casting it to a uint8. I was trying to cast to a uint8. What I'm doing is I'm casting a uint8 to the boss state enum. Because we're trying to make it into this, right? So that we can do this with it. Okay. Everything compiles now. That is a fucking great start. How's everybody doing? Because I just... Man, that was something. That was something else indeed. Absolute confusion. That's because I am a chaotic mess of a person. Okay, so we can just... Why is boss state not here? Why is it not here? Because it's... No, it is a blueprint type. That's all that should need. You don't need to make that a U property, do you? How can I make a U enum accessible in blueprints? I think just blueprint type is all you need. Yeah. Just UEnum, blueprint type, enum class, name. So why is it not showing up? Anybody care to fucking explain? Because it should be. Let's set this to none and then back to enum. Maybe you just need to like reload the list or something. No. No, TradeUp's just not there. If I go into like a random blueprint, this one, and I try to make a variable of type boss state, enums, boss state. There we go. It exists. Now we compile, we can see that it's passive aggressive dead. So it exists. Why in the fuck though? Then can the night boss thing not find it? I am so fucking done with everything. This is stupid. Legitimately, I don't know. I'm just gonna make a new key. Enum key. It legitimately just doesn't show up. Why does it not show up? Why would my new enum not show up as a type in an enum key on a blackboard? This doesn't make any fucking sense. ChatGPT also doesn't know. Google, Unreal. C++ enum not showing blackboard. Yeah, C++ enum doesn't show up on blackboard keys. Exactly. There is a way. Okay, hold the fuck on. Enum name, Oh, you can just type in the enum name here. That also works. It's not ideal, but will do. If you just copy this over and paste it in there, it does find it. It just doesn't search the C++ classes. Apparently. Sure, why not? That works. Okay, so let's test drive this guy now. We're going to dock the output log in now. Dock that somewhere. Surely. Surely we can find a place for this to dock. Dock it right there. We'll dock it right there. And then we will have this right here. Usually this is why you do this kind of stuff with oh, new save system. It's merged in. Do you guys like it? Also, I added back in the walls for this level because those were being loaded in with an entirely separate level. Gameplay, super cool. Timer is just always 32, is it? Well, that's not great. Now, first and foremost, we do need to change something here. Also, let me enable that. Because we have an issue here where we straight up just can't. We straight up just can't do shit. Fuck. Let's try to re-add Blackboard decorator. A lot of good that'll do you. Being able to force a certain enum type if you can't actually like fucking select its values. What bullshit is this? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just use this one. We can remove this for now. Let's try to set this to state again. Something is just like very broken. Okay, so nothing works like at all at this point. Okay, hold on. We will, just for good measure, do a proper recompile. That took like literally half a second, so nothing much happened there, I am aware. And then we will open the project back up. Maybe this will do a thing. Maybe Unreal is just broken as all hell. The worst part is, right, there's other people who've had a similar issue, and this doesn't seem like unreasonable to expect the engine to be able to do. And the people having this issue on the Unreal forums date back to 2015. So this issue has been in the engine for literally almost a decade. How the fuck does something like this persist in Unreal Engine for 10 years? What? No. That is entirely fucked. That can't be the case. I must be missing something. Right? Surely. Surely I'm missing something vital here. And it's not a decade-old, like, fairly basic bug. I'm not saying that it would be basic to fix. I have no idea what's causing it. I'm just saying that, like, more people probably run into this. Making an enum in C++ and then not being able to access it in your fucking behavior tree. That's kind of bullshit. It might have something to do with the fact that I made it in that specific class. Maybe that behavior tree doesn't have access to that class for whatever reason. Which would be weird. But we can look into that if we need to. Enemies. Characters. Bosses. Reaper. Before we do anything else, we just, yeah, again, it doesn't show up here, so that's a great fucking start. But it seems like, okay, state equal to, we can set this to passive and aggressive when it's just boss state, right? So that much makes sense. But then when we set it to eBoss state, it fucking works now. Okay, so at least it's not a decade-old bug that just stops you from using that enum altogether. That was just a live coding issue, probably, that we just ran into. That is fair. Still feels needlessly fucked. Okay, but we've got that working now. We had another issue though. That being our timer didn't update. And for some reason was always stuck at 32. Are we printing out the right thing? First and foremost. That's not what I want to be looking at right now. When we log our time up here, you log time. Our timer is state timer. When we set the timer to 0. Now we also do set it to state timer. Yeah, no, I don't think this makes sense why it wasn't doing that. I'm going to blame live coding there as well. Makes a lot less sense for that to be live coding related, but I'm going to blame it. Also, hello, Even Steven, welcome to my hell. Enjoy your stay. This has been the most chaotic hour of my life. We have made, like, actually no progress. I suppose if you count bugs that didn't exist the last time we left off being hunted down and fixed as progress, we actually did make some progress. I don't know that I would necessarily want to count that. Okay, so we've got our Okay, so our distance to player actually doesn't work to begin with. But looking at this a little closer, I think I might know why we were having an issue. Because can you see the key with that name in this field? We've got a couple of float keys. Distance to player, definitely not it. HP percent, it's also not working, but we'll get to that later. And now we've got the passive wait time, which is only 3 seconds. Oh, holy shit, he's right on top of us. So our state timer is our distance to player. We are trying to do stuff with stuff that straight up does not exist. That said, though, this should still... It should still be updating that one. Unless distance to player is in a different place also getting set. So let's, just to be thorough about this, add our float for state timer. Yeah, you didn't really miss much except for me losing my mind, but that's just kind of par for the course at this point. So yeah, you didn't really miss that much. Okay, so we've got the state timer, which is now a key all to itself. The boss state, we probably should set that back to the state. State time duration. Probably should be a key onto itself as well. State time let's call this aggression duration, just to be a little bit more descriptive, and we'll change the names for it here as well in a moment. Aggression duration, and then boss health will be HP percent. So these are actually the keys that refer to the things that I want them to refer to, which is quite important. It's quite nice that we now have the whole... Okay. State time is still not getting updated, except that it is getting updated down in our... Okay, so it's just showing the delta time. It's showing the delta time. It's showing the delta time. So this is initializing to 0, then getting the delta time added to it and then logging it. Also, hello. Thanks for the follow on Twitch. I can see both chats now combined, which is really cool. I'm using Restream for the first time. Hopefully I won't miss whenever somebody joins in with Twitch now, because historically I've been kind of bad with that. So we are getting the value as float. We want to have an F name for that, which is selected key name, right? That's an F name from the state timer. So this makes sense to me that this should work. So what's probably happening is that we're not setting it properly. Okay, from YouTube actually looks up on Twitch just in case. That's fine too. I am on Twitch as well. Mostly if anybody has like issues with YouTube, sometimes people have in the past. I also stream to Twitch. And now that I have a Restream, I can stream up to 5 platforms at once. So I might try to like set up Facebook streaming. Does anybody even like want to watch this on Facebook, right? Whenever TikTok decides that I am worthy of live streaming, I probably will do live streaming on TikTok, though. Well, we'll see. So yeah, this is not getting set, I think, is the issue. Your grandma, yeah, I probably, right? Probably. Okay, so if our timer that we make here is greater than or equal to our state time duration, we do all this, and our state time duration if they're both 0, that should be true then. Oh, but then it checks the HP threshold? No. These are just the boss states. So it applies this info to it. Oh, I have this empty one. That's probably the thing that's fucking me up. That's probably the thing that's fucking me up. Hold on. Still good to build in some protection around that. So that I can't set these values to 0. They just always have to be higher than 0. And now it's actually counting up. There we go. Yes. So once we get to a duration of 60 seconds, which apparently is the default aggression duration, because... Okay, that doesn't fully make sense to me either. Why is its default state the lowest? Oh, because the HP percent is not being set properly. We can fix that relatively easily though. We just add a update enemy HP. I probably want to update this a little bit more often, like every 10th of a second, with no random deviation, preferably. So this always has more or less the most updated information available, and then the HP key will be HP percent. So now it shouldn't set it instantly to the last state. So our aggression duration should jump to like 26 seconds in a moment. Except it's not. And we're back to the issue that we had before, where it's only printing the delta time. And it is for some reason switching between the two states. Okay, update enemy HP. Do you do anything weird with no? You literally just do what it says. Right? It's probably good to not actually have this with too much random interval, to be honest. I'm going to take that service out real quick and just see if it even sets the HP percent properly. No, it does. It very much does. That sets it to 100%. So now adding this back in. That is at 100%. So why does it keep flicking between those two states? And why does it set my passive wait timer and state timer and stuff all to 0 every frame? Or every tick, rather. We go back to the code. If boss health is less than or equal to the health threshold, which it should not be. But we're gonna do a thing here. So boss HP percent. we're just going to make this a little bit more readable because we're going to troubleshoot this a lot, I think. So the boss HP percent has to be greater than 0 and less than that. That way, the first like 10th of a second, it doesn't actually have a value yet, and if that other one then fires before things get set properly, the fuck do you mean? Oh. That might have been the issue. But that should fix itself reasonably. He wants to be passive aggressive. He is being very passive aggressive. He is. And it's working because I'm annoyed. He's flicking back every single tick. Just flicking back and forth, flicking back and forth. With no end in sight. I don't really care about that error for right now. So if the boss percent is greater than 0, it sets the... and less than the threshold health, which, for anybody just tuning in, the threshold health will be... that's not what I want to do. Will be this value over here, and this value, and this value, going through a for loop, which apparently is shaped like the letter C. I was going to do like a for loop and then like a little arrow thing. So it's going through all of these, and it's then first going to check like, okay, are we above 70%? If so, we're going to use these values. If we're, or below 70% rather, we're going to use these values. If we're below 50%, we're going to be using these values. Below 10%, we use these values, right? So that's what it's trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do, I should say, because clearly that's not what it is doing. This makes sense to me. I'm going to log success. So you have a loop checking a switch if statement. Yeah, so we've got a loop here. So we've got this for loop here, which loops through the array with those structs in it that I just showed. In that we now make a boss percent float from the input key. Then it compares that to the values one by one in the loop, and if the boss's HP percentage is below the percentage that are given in any of those structs, then it applies the other two values in those structs to the corresponding keys so that the AI tree can do its thing. That's the theory anyway. It's not what it's doing, clearly. Are the values you're pushing correct though? I mean, aside from whether the values are I mean, they are, because this is the this is the passive wait time, which is a variable for a key, and that's getting then filled up with the right. Yeah, so you pass in a key and a value. This is the key. This is the value for both of them. So that makes sense. The only thing that I can think of is that the keys wouldn't be the right ones, but they worked a second ago. They just stopped working when I added like 2 lines of code that didn't seem to have anything to do with that. So we'll get back to that in a moment. I just want to see whether or not it is successfully setting anything at all, because I don't think it is. Right, it's just logging the delta time here, which is somewhat inconsistent, but we'll care about that a little later. We don't really need to care about that, actually. So somehow this is getting fucked up by whatever is happening down here, because I can promise you, well, I don't know if I'll promise you, but I'm going to pretend like I'm confident. If I remove that block of code, which is to do with the switching between the different states, then it will work. Because that is the code that I just changed, which broke everything. But those two blocks of code, Huh? I am so confused right now. Also, the question about what I'm using to code, that is Visual Studio Code. That is really fucking weird. Aggression duration, state time duration. I am passing in the right thing. Why did this just stop working? You can count me as a little confused right now. It's just right not setting it. How? How does it set it when I remove the update HP percent service? How do those even interact at all? What? Because this is literally all that does. Is it gets the tick, it gets the base and the max health value, divides them, multiplies by 100, and returns, like, how do those things even slightly interact? The only thing that I can really give you about the skeletal structure of your skeletal mesh is make sure you have a separate root bone that that is not your hip bone. So if you go to your skeletal mesh, right here we have the bones, right? I have a separate bone that is not deforming anything. That is the root bone. Just look into root motion a little bit and you'll quickly probably come to understand why that is important. Yeah, so you're right. The issue is that my code is bugged. Well, actually, no, I don't think the issue is my code is bugged. I think somehow these two services are interfering with each other. Because this is running 10 times a second and just updating this value. And for some reason, updating that value 10 times a second breaks this reading that value 2 times a second. It should just be getting the most recent value. I'm going to paste this code back in real quick, by the way. There's a weird lock on it though. I can look at that, but I think this just means that it's a blueprint service. Or it has like a comment or something. There is this weird little icon on it. You are not wrong about that, but service. Update HP percent. I have two of them? What does this one do? Did I make a C++ version of this at some point? Because if so, I should be using that one to begin with. BT service. Just look for HP. Update HP percent. Okay, so what does this do? It just gets the blackboard component, gets the pawn. Okay, so it just does all that directly. Let's try to run it with this instead. Maybe I should be updating it after. I don't fucking know. Let's just... It's a more hard-coded service. But if it works, it works. Okay, maybe it works. No, the HP percent is definitely at 0. So this service just doesn't work to begin with. Why not? Because that code checks out. Are you sure you're not mixing up the values for HP percent and HP flats? Yes. I'm running this exact same node on like all my other behavior trees. I know that this node works. This though is absolutely horrible. Matter of fact, I am willing to bet that if I remove the boss update info and I just keep the HP percent, that it will work. Okay, it doesn't. Fair. I mean, that's a start. Let's see if we do BTS updates HP percent. Because again, I think that is a better service to begin with. Yeah, so maybe there's just something going wrong with all that for some reason. Yeah, you see, this one is, now it is updating it properly. Like, now it is properly setting, so this one does work. HP percent is now set to 100. Cool, right? Works. Now, let's add in our update info again. What the fuck? So now HP percent works, but okay. I think somehow these two being on the same selectors just fucking things up. So if I just put these on there and there, instead, just for shits and giggles, do they both work now? No. Not here, I mean the Blackboard boss info node. Yeah, no, they are set correct. Boss health is HP percent. Those values are getting set correct, and when there's only one of these nodes existing, they work. It's just when they both exist, something is going wrong. Because again, if I remove the set HP percent, you can see that the bottom 3 values will be given a value. So state timer works, the passive wait time works, the aggression duration is set to 60, which is the longest out of the array that I have, because the HP percent is set to 0. If I then take this one, remove the update boss info, and the answer is just incorporating the updating of the boss HP into the update boss info thing. But now you can see the HP value is getting set properly, but the rest not. So it's just both of those nodes existing at the same time that is somehow being problematic. But I guess, yeah, so we're just going to like copy some of this node over into that other node. It's not ideal stuffing all that into one big node. We'll definitely break some of this stuff up. What if you just copy the values instead of working with them directly? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Because that is how blackboard keys work, is we get the blackboard key, we copy the value out of it, and then we set it back later again. Is that true? Am I... Because I assume what you're getting at is that... No, that doesn't make sense, actually. But still, I assume what you're getting at is that like both of those services are using the same key at the same time, and that might be causing some problems, but I don't think that they would be working on a separate thread. They would be happening one after the other, most likely. So I don't think that could be the issue. So I'm just going to incorporate the update boss HP here anyway, because we have the boss health key existing here anyway. I am going to, however, make this into a couple of different functions. So update HP percent, no. HP percent, update state. You can't put a space in a function name, you idiot. And then update boss info. So yeah, let's create definitions for all these. VS Code, are you going to do your thing? Just because this is starting to be like a pretty huge block of code. So let's do our due diligence and split this up. So we have the update boss info. Updates boss info. Then we have our... Probably could even break that into 2 functions, to be honest with you, if we need to. Update states. And then we actually probably want to do update HP percent first. There we go. And update boss info, or update state rather, needs to take in a delta seconds. Float del seconds. It's called delta seconds, right? Yes. We just have to pass that through. Okay, update HP percents. That shouldn't be that difficult, right? Right? Kind of just like copy this over, honestly. And paste that in here, and then change this to Copilot. Are you gonna do your thing? Yeah, I didn't think so. Maybe now you'll do your thing. Blackboard components set value to float. Did I actually have something different there? No, that... Yeah, no, that actually... What the f... That checks out. Let me... Why are you not allowing me to... Oh, it's probably because of this, right? No? There we go. Oh! I was using enter instead of tab. That is why. Okay, so now we have that incorporated all in this one node, one after the other. That should take care of it. Now it should both work. Okay, there's a compiling error. What is the error? Missing type specifier interzoomed. Oh. Yeah. That is on me. That's my bad. And of course we need to do that in the CPP file too. Again. I will bitch at Unreal Engine whenever I can, but sometimes it's just me being a stupid little boy. Okay, so now I'm actually getting a little confused. Oh, we need to pass through owner comp into update HP percent. Maybe node memory is actually like somewhat relevant to some of this stuff as well. That could be a good point. We'll look into that. If that ends up being a problem. I don't think it will. At least I hope. Okay, still some issues. Update boss info does not take 0 arguments. Does it not? Because I kind of feel like it does, not gonna lie. Okay, that is kind of embarrassing. Yeah, that is kind of embarrassing. Okay, just owner comp is not identified at this point in... Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. I also need to pass that through there. In update state, right? And I'm probably also in update boss info itself now I think about it. Update boss info also uses owner comp. Yeah. Okay. Now we should be able to compile and hopefully finally update our HP and actually have this thing functioning somewhat decently. Oh my god, there's still an issue. The function does not take one argument. Update state. Now everything should compile. Hello, Night Ninja. Welcome. I see green text. I'm happy. Okay. Fucking. Yeah, no, that actually, no, that's fine. I was going to say we probably need to like set the HP key, but we already have that. So HP percent is being set. And that is somehow interfering with our other keys. Why? Oh, because we only are updating our enemy HP. We're just running the wrong node. Update boss info. There we go. We probably want to update our boss info more than 2 times a second if we're going to be doing it this way. HP percent is again getting set to 0. Why? How? So what if I move this to the end of this function instead? If this happens last. I am mostly confused at this point, to be honest with you. So yeah, if the HP update happens last, does it... Okay, so it prioritizes whatever happens first. And then whatever happens after that, it doesn't do. That is interesting. Isn't it? What have you? A ton of steel or a ton of feathers? It's a very good and a very deep philosophical question. What came first, the steel or the feathers? Is it playing up? It very much is. So, why the fuck is it even using the stats component? Oh, that's such outdated code. It should not be doing that. That's nothing to do with the issue here, but we probably should get gas components. I don't want to have it be a use stats component. Fuck off. Control pawn. We'll worry about that later, actually. I just don't care at the moment. They both weigh a ton, the same weight. You don't say! Yeah, so this is not actually gonna, like, do shit. But for some reason... Okay, so why... Unreal. Chat tells me that you need to get on with it. Just fucking work, okay? Can we agree on that? So yeah, it is doing something here with just executing the first function and not what comes after. So let's ulog HP updated. Then we want a ulog boss info updated, boss info updated, and then state updated. I just want to see whether or not it even gets to that point in the code. Okay, HP updated, boss info updated, and state updated. It does update all of them. It does update all of them. Or at least it gets all the way through. So yeah, at this point, maybe the HP percentage issue is more to do with the fact that that code is just fucked. Because it's using the old system that I haven't used in like months. CPP is killing me. I have no idea why, because I can do something in C#. If you're working inside Unreal, it's really not that different from C#, really. Like, yeah, you have to get used to, but you have to get used to like the Unreal stuff. But like changing to any engine is gonna. Okay, so I think it is actually not the issue that this is not doing. This is like canceling any operations. It's just that this code doesn't work because I'm using the old stuff. So I need to include the ability system components. Include ability system components. Sometimes Copilot can be nice. Get ability system components from interface. That's not how you're supposed to do that, though. I mean, it'll work, but I have a place where I do this differently. Hold on. How did I do that again? Where did I do that? It's a better question. In the weapon? Yeah, here. This is where we go. So I'm just going to copy this and modify it real quick. God, no. God. Oh my God. Please. Stop fucking. Something like this. Please, 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 please just do. There we go. Okay. Indentation is back. I can actually read stuff again. Of course, we do stuff differently. There we have... Oh no, it does actually need to be indented one more. Now it makes sense again. Okay, we need the control pawn. And then we log interface found, just to be sure. Get health from ability system. Get enemy health from ability system. Yeah, no, we already kind of did that, dude. Out of the ability system interface. Hold on, I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, so we get ability system component from that, and from there we can do stuff. Okay, yeah. Get sets. Somewhere in here there's the class that I'm looking for. Just need to CPP because I'm making a MP is multiplayer, right? Everything else works in Blueprint. You can make multiplayer application in Blueprint. You can. Matter of fact, it's actually easier in Blueprint. As many things are. Okay, so gas player attribute sets. Oh, it's probably in the enemy's folder then. Let's close AI. It's called like enemy attribute set or something like that. Oh no, that's not where I want to look. I want to search in. I want to search in there. No. It's been a long fucking week. Can you tell? Enemy attribute set. There we go. That's what it's called. Which is a U enemy, which I'm going to need to include. So let's include that. You do your thing. Good. Thank you very much. And then we get health. And then we do the entire fucking thing again. Okay, so float current HP. It is called health, right? We have health and max health. So we should now be able to also get a float max HP for max health. Okay. I think that does what it needs to do now. Hopefully. So these kind of things that are like gameplay ability system specific, like how do you work with the interface stuff again? Okay, I cannot open enemy attribute set. Why not? No such file or directory. I'm willing to bet that there is. It's right here. Maybe it just needs to be include enemy attribute set like it is in the CPP file here. So let's just do that instead. Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna do much better. It isn't enemies, right? Oh, it isn't enemies AI? Is it? Where the fuck did it go? Enemy stats components. Am I tripping? It was here a moment ago, right? Oh, it's just in action RPGs. It's not in enemies. Okay. That makes sense. Sure. Stats component, undeclared identifier. That makes sense because we're not using it anymore. Why is it even there? CPP 41. Where does it even refer to anything close to that? It doesn't. Oh, stats component. I should check the ability component. Wait, why is this all here? Sure. Cool. More compilation errors, why not? That also is fair enough. We need to get the base value, current value. I don't think it matters. That's also fair because that's not a pointer. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. This gets me a U enemy attribute set, which is a class. Oh. This is destruct. This apparently still... This is of course still a pointer because it's referring to a specific set on that specific components. Green text. Did we really just spend like 2 hours trying to get this guy to display his HP properly? Yes, we did. And guess fucking what? Now that his HP is doing the thing again, this fucking shit ain't working anymore. The actual fuck. State updated, HP updated, boss info updated, state updated. It's running through them all. Updating HP. So now if I move this to the end, it's going to be updating the rest and not the HP. Right? That's how this works. I am like this close to just hard coding the entire thing and not do in like C++ or in Blueprint and not using behavior trees because this is starting to get on my nerve. Yeah. Oh, it does both. It does both now. It does both. Okay, sure, it's fixed. Why is it fixed? I don't fucking know. It's just fixed. Can we damage him? I think we can just damage him, right? Yeah, we can damage him. His HP percent does go down and we do get yeeted through the door. But... Okay, so... It works. His HP thing works. Everything fucking works. Except his movement. His movement does not work, actually. Why is that? Why is that? That's a very good question. Why does his movement not work? We ran into that at the end of the last stream, and I didn't really think about that until this moment. Let's put this aside for now because we're going to be worrying about something else for a moment here. Speed is spline. Skeleton actor boss dude. And night boss. I think I call him Reaper boss or something, right? A Reaper boss, right on the night boss, of course. Okay. We have a bull somewhere here. Yep, public. B is on spline. Your property read right. Visible anywhere. Pretty please. I want to see what the value of that thing is. Because I'm assuming its value is just set to false somewhere. For some reason. Might be being done in the animation? Couldn't tell you. Okay, so B is on spline is true because this guy's unloaded at the moment, so obviously. No, B on spline is still true. Just to make sure that we are looking at the right instance, because he did just get unloaded and reloaded. No, it's false. Okay. Now we got to figure out why this is being set to false. Because why would it be? That is a very good question, and I have to assume it is to do with this, right? I don't think it is. So why would that be setting anything to false? Nothing in this. Oh, that's the boss base. So anything in this class that would potentially set this value to anything else? No, not even. In his blueprint, boss Reaper, we have in the ability. We have an array of abilities here somewhere. We can just open those actually through there. We've got the Reaper Dash, which is the base ability. So yeah, on an ability, it should be setting itself back to being able to be on spline. This does set it to being not on the spline. So, is it just attacking too quickly? Yeah, because this should be on a 20-second timer, and very clearly is not. Right? That definitely did not seem like it was on a 20-second timer. For some reason, this seems like it is. But that's not 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Just spamming it. So why is that? So distance to closest point on spline. Sure. Okay. Consider me a little confused. So what this does is it plays the dashing montage on the boss fight, and then immediately goes into applying root motion toward the player. If this is timed out, or we reach the player's destination with like slight offsets, we end this task. I feel like that might be the thing that's fucking me up somehow. It shouldn't, but let's test this. And then we play the actual attack montage, and once that blends out, we end the ability, and we set ourselves here back to being true. Now, even with all that, that doesn't really explain why that attack is happening every like 5 seconds instead of every 20 seconds. So something still is going like really weird there. Yeah, so that definitely is not the issue. But there is something else going on there. I couldn't tell you what. Just for shits and giggles, if I don't set this timer by event at all, do you still do weird stuff? Is something else triggering this? Yes. Something else is making you play that animation. What in the world could be doing that? Something in your behavior tree. Play montage. Attack. There we go. That's the issue. Reaper movement ball. Can move. Get set to false here. Okay. We found our culprit. We found our culprit. That's because we don't have the taunting animation yet. And at the end here, it does get set back to true, but okay. So, but it will only do that in its like passive state, right? So if we go into the aggressive state, which we have to make the subtree for still, which we're again not going to be doing today probably because of all the bullshit that happened earlier. But if we just like disconnect this, can we just like break this link? And then can we just like hover over this and do delete, something like that? No. Surely there's a shortcut for that. Okay, so now they're disconnected. Did I hook this back up? No, I did not. So the idea is it's not going to be running any actual behavior now, but it should still be updating the blackboard because it's still doing the selector every so often. So let's check that. So yeah, it is now properly moving again. It's going to be doing its animations on the timer. Its abilities are gonna work properly, presumably on that 20-second timer, which is quite long. There we go. And if I attack it, it loses some HP and then just kind of teleports. But it's a boss fight, and the boss fight should not even be taking any knockback to begin with. That said, though, I kind of like the teleporting feeling that we get with him. Not intentional. I also don't know what the fuck is going on with his movement for his AI, but it kind of works. He also does not seem to be getting recognized as a... Yeah, we definitely are... Oh, we're pushing him around with our... Yeah, that's it. We needed to fix that still. I remember now. Okay, let's leave the AI stuff here for now, because we've made our update boss info. That works now. Everything is fine with that. I want to look at something else real quick. Because I don't think my brain can handle any more troubleshooting today. What I want to look at instead, which might also be very troubling, but I want to look into... where are you? Skeletal mesh asset here. If I go into the physics asset, I want to try to see how I can set up the rigid body stuff for this. I've never really done this before, so we're going to find out together. So if I then make add shape, add collision. Okay, add shape. I want to add a capsule under this, right? Or do I add virtual bone, spine, 4? Regenerate bodies. That is definitely bad. I probably maybe need to actually just straight up look up a video on how this stuff works, because I'm just kind of winging it at this point. But if I just pretend that this is not horrible, which it is horrible, so gotta pretend real hard. Can I make this not render on top or something like that? That will be crown. I want to see if it's actually render, preview, shape. Create body for all bones. Let's actually try that. Maybe that'll do something a little bit more. Nope. That does not do what I thought it was going to do. I don't think this is going to work very well. I'm just going to be real with you. But let's try it anyway. Activate cloth paints. Add clothing. Reaper boss. Oh, we need to make clothing data. How does this work again? It's been a while since I've done this. Let me check this out in my ghosts character. Because this guy has cloth. No, this guy does not have cloth physics. That is a lie. This guy has cloth physics. And still the wrong material. I just noticed. We'll worry about that later. So yeah, this guy has cloth physics. And works quite well on him. So if I check this out, that's... let me set that up again. Do you do it in the skeletal mesh? Is that it? I forget. Or do you do it inside of the physics? No, you don't do it inside of the physics. Asset. Pretty sure you do it in here. Create assets. No. I need to refresh my memory on this. I did this like 4 or 5 times months ago. Clothing Simulation Factory. Okay, Chaos Clothing Simulation Factory. So it's using that. Is my other mesh, where the fuck is it even? Reaper Boss. If I go over here, it's also using that. And then I think you want to go over into here. Let's put these side by side. I can't stay out like too late today because I do have some like work and some renders to put on still after the stream. Oh, this is just a panel that you get, I think, maybe. Is that it? I think this is just a clothing panel that you get, but I'm still skipping a step, I feel. Possibly somewhere here in the asset details. No, in the clothing. I'm gonna... Oh! Okay. So make some clothing data there. So is that an asset? I don't think that's a separate asset, right? Can I... I think you might need to do it like this. No, I am just not sure. Okay. I'm going to try and Google this real quick because I feel like I'm just missing something very obvious. Unreal Cloth. The fuck is happening to my keyboard? Unreal Cloth Sim. Sure, we'll pull up a video.
When it comes to class simulation,
how about you just show me what I need to do? You make a model. Okay. You import it as a skeletal mesh. In the asset details. Okay, window, clothing. Got that. Oh. That is it. You had to right click on the mesh. Oh my god. That is wow. Okay, so let's create that asset. Now we have that. So now we can activate cloth paint, and now we can paint our clothing simulation. There we go. Holy hell. And then in here we can set our like, yeah, needs to be a lot less than that. So our strength needs to go like very much down, and maybe our radius as well. How's this? That feels a little better. I just want these like little dangly bits to like actually be dangly bits. But this still feels like it is just setting them to a value of 1. Oh, that's because my paint value is set to 100. Yeah, I want to set that to like 25. Does this override or does this add? This overrides. That is actually fantastic. And then maybe the very bottom tips here will increase a little bit to like 30 something. For the most part, I just want to... What? For the most part, I just want to kind of test out if this even like works close to at all. I also just remember that there's a weight painting issue with like a couple of roots in some places, which I'm going to need to fix up in Blender. Still, I keep forgetting to do that. It's going to be one of those things that eventually when the game is shipped, it's still going to be in there. And it's going to take like people actually playing the game like a year to run into that as an issue. At which point I'm like, no, do I really feel like fixing this? Okay. Yeah, for now, let's just stick with that. It is also maybe painting. Hold on. Is it also painting this? I feel like it might also be painting this. Hold on. That's not what I want. Like, at all. No, I don't think it is. Okay. So yeah, that's the basic idea. That is going to be like somewhat stiff, but it's going to be cloth. And now, if we look at an animation, it should be moving around a little. Maybe. Oh yeah, it very much isn't. Not even a bit. Well, actually, is it? No. No, I don't think it is. No, it will be moving around a lot more. Unless the value just needs to be like that much higher for it to actually do like anything at all. Let's set this value to like... Let's set it to 100 and then just see what happens. Like we can always come back to this later, but let's do this like a little bit rough for now. That's maybe a little bit too much. It's just like paint this entirely in as white, and then we'll go back later, and I just want to see if this works at all. The quality of it at this point really doesn't matter that much. It just needs to show me that it's simulating. Which it doesn't look like it is so far, so that's not great. Let's pull that video back up real quick. Okay, yeah, so paint everything. Deactivate cloth pane. I have that. Doesn't quite do anything yet. Oh. Apply clothing data. That's what I forgot. So now it's probably going to be very simulated. Yeah, okay, so that works a little bit too well. So I'll go back to activate cloud painting and go back to the value of 25 that I had before. Because that should just make it move less. Make it feel like a thicker kind of material is the idea. And also save me from having to worry about it clipping through the other parts of the mesh. But still give it like enough of a feeling to make it feel a little bit more alive. But it doesn't really seem to be doing that. So that kinda sucks. Yeah. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but I just need to set up that rigid body stock. Oh my god. Okay, this is also a little bit of code that might need polishing up there, but that's beside the point for now. I think I just this just needs to be less shit, is really what it comes down to, I think. And maybe, just maybe, actually, what we can do is we can make the, specifically like this part is really causing like a lot of problems, right? So if we just make sure that it's specifically here. Look at the fucking mesh. It is actually just horrendous. It's also a problem, I think, because it is two-sided. So it's colliding with itself a bit, which is making it act all like weird. This might improve things. It's very fucked that I can like see through the wireframe. It's making me a little... That does improve matters though, because it's not clipping through the ribcage anymore. And if like those little things clip through a little bit in gameplay, I can deal with that a little bit better. It's just the main portion of the body clipping through that badly is actually like horrible. But this, I think we can deal with this, right? Well, I'd prefer not to. Still. But this is a lot better. Which I suppose is a start. So then we get to these little bits here as well, which we might as well do, right? We might as well. We're at it anyway. Let's set the paint value to, I think 25 was a pretty good one. And then the radius here needs to go way down. because we really only want to like paint these little bits, like these dangly bits are the only thing that really need to simulate here. And these are going to clip through the arm bones as well at first. But again, it's mostly a issue to do with setting up those rigid bodies for the skeleton that these things interact with. And I just don't know how to do that at the moment. So I'm going to have to look into that between streams, and maybe not this week, but eventually I will, surely. And then we'll take a look into that. But that should allow things to stop clipping as much. And it's probably going to do a little bit of clipping, right? Because we're doing some fairly detailed simulation with this geometry here. So either it's going to clip a little bit through certain parts of the mesh, or those rigid bodies are going to have to be so big that the collision happens very far away from the mesh, which in itself also wouldn't look that good. Also, I believe if a cloth physics thing starts within one of those rigid body capsules, it just straight up ignores it. So that's also an issue to keep in mind. I suppose if we like set this to like 10% or something, right? And we set the radius here to like 20. We can do like a little bit of this maybe. Just as an idea, I might remove this at some point. I also suck at cloth painting, so my advice is get good. And when you do, give me advice. That is really all I got for you, because I just don't know, honestly. I also wish that I could like turn on backface culling for this somehow, because it's really messing me up quite a bit. Okay, again, if we put some like more rigid body stuff in there to prevent it from clipping through the skull, I think the fact that the hood itself is now also maybe it's a little buggy. We'll see. Maybe we'll not do the hood thing. But just look at this in motion real quick. And after that I'm going to end the stream, because again I need to like actually do some more work. Because I'm supposed to like supply a render tonight. Yeah, no, that actually kind of does the trick. Like, the entire thing doesn't need to be simulated as long as the ends are simulated, right? That does enough. And I think that kind of does what it needs to do, so... I don't necessarily think that simulating the hood was altogether necessary, but... Yeah, now, if we just do the whole like physics asset thing a little bit better, I think that's pretty good. But for now, we're going to call it here for today, because I've been live for 2.5 hours. Restream was kind of nice to use for the first time. Like, people showed up in Twitch chat, and I didn't actually like accidentally ignore them, because I could see them in chat very easily. It makes my entire setup a lot easier, so I am actually like quite happy with the service so far. Thursday we'll be back same time as usual, and then we will actually be diving into the behavior tree and making the aggressive state, like the actual like boss battle state. Now that we have everything, like no more troubleshooting, No more weird bugs. Well, there's probably going to be weird bugs because you know me. We will actually get into some action. I have been very eager to get there. The last couple of streams have been very slow progress. But that's also because we're not just doing the design for this boss AI, we're redesigning and like making tools to make all of the bosses in the future, oh, I'm sorry for hitting the microphone, all of the bosses in the future easier and quicker to create and iterate on. So I think that's been valuable time spent. I'll see you back next time. See ya.